So, hello and welcome back to Maggie's Flightdeck. I hope the chat is visible now. So, and I hope everyone can read the chat. Okay. So, this time from a new location, directly from the cockpit here. And let's take the time to say hello to everyone who has made this to this live stream. When I started this, I thought I would be alone here. So Peter, hello Peter, I've written this again and nice to have you here. GL, hello, good to hear from you. Mukesh, now we can see us this time, last time we missed us. So where we have it, and Budapest, yes, starting soon. Yes, I have started now. So, okay, now we can start this. I think we will go again for about an hour, and let's keep time boxed, not to get boring at the end. So when we don't get all the topics, we will save something for the next stream. So, hello G-Pilot, good to have you here. So, first of all, it was the exact day today, 2 years ago, when my first video went online, and I thought when I'm starting this cockpit project I could share the knowledge and the things I've learned during this cockpit building with the community. And so the first video went online, and I remember the day when I had my first 10 followers on YouTube, and I was happy like nothing. And now this week we have cracked the 1,400 now, and again I'm happy about every new subscriber here to the channel. So say your friends about this channel here and what I'm doing. There will be many more this year and very interesting themes. So first of all, it was the day before Christmas when I received a message, and I kindly remember me at the good old times. Maybe you can remember this. Welcome to the Norwegian 737 project. I received a package, and so it was me. I've written to Peter Matjasovic. He's in the chat today too. And he said that he could send me his panel plans he had made in CorelDRAW. And I've seen this plans, and it was overwhelming. This was very much work he had done into these plans, and he has made plans of every panel here, the overhead, the MCP, the pedestal, everything. And then he wrote this last sentence, and I have MCP, I'm not using it, and I could send it to you. And I thought, what do you want sending me an MCP? And so yes, he has 2 versions head of this, and one was unused, and so I've showed this to you on Instagram, and he sent me, let's get rid of this first, here, away. So, and he sent me an MCP panel, and here, I hope you can see this. A column MCP. Ooh, I'm talking. That's the first time I'm talking through a column MCP. It's laser cut and engraved. And with this came also these small inlays here for the buttons. Here you can see them. Hope it will focus. Already painted black on the top here, and also these inlays for the 7-segment displays here. Yes, and this fits into my glass shield, and so I could go on to the next video episode much faster. So thanks again, Peter, for this. I will definitely use it, even if the color code doesn't match my EFIS panels, but the buttons, oh yes, the buttons, I've never shown the buttons. Here we have them. You can also see like when it would focus. It doesn't. Okay, but this would also be very hard for me to do with my CNC router, especially this checker theme at the bottom there. And I will definitely use these buttons. So, what do we have? Okay. So I want to come to one topic here, and this is the release of my videos, and I want to make it a little bit more scheduled for you. So when I have built my CNC router, I was able to release a video every 2 weeks, and I've seen that the video had the best views and yeah, I guess the views, I think you call it, on Sundays. And so I will release a video, if I release a video, on Sunday at 12 o'clock local time. This would be now 11 o'clock UTC. Yes, 11 o'clock UTC. So when you want to see a video, go on a Sunday. Look if there is a video. If there isn't a video at 12 o'clock, then it will come the next week, or then the next week, and so on. So you don't need to think that there will be any videos during the week, just on Sunday. So, and I will implement some chapters in my live stream, and also to the last live streams. So I know this live stream had a length of an hour or 1.5 hours, and you want to know what was talked about in this live stream, what was it about, and if you not want to watch all this time and being afraid to miss something, then it would be nice to have a chapter and you can jump directly to the scenes you are interested in. And so I will sit down after the stream, watch this again, and write down in the video description the chapter links. And so you can click on the question you are interested, and you are directly at the time mark of the live stream. And give me some time, but I will do it also with the last live streams. And so you can watch them again if you haven't done already, and inform you about some topics that were discussed there. So, yes, Axel, next cockpit A320. Yes, I think I will be busy with this cockpit some years. And this is also one question a user had. I've written some down here. When will the simulator be ready? It's a question that mostly my colleagues ask me when they can come and fly with the simulator. And I have to say, when I'm looking at the steps I'm doing and the time that has passed, I can think maybe 5 or 6 years until it is fully finished. And yeah, maybe you can fly with it in 3 or 4 years, but I want to have it really finished before I will make real flights with it. And this can be a time of 6 years in the future. But then, if I have enough room, then we can talk about building an A320 and starting the whole process again. I don't know. So, Dennis, hello to the Netherlands. No Airbus, Boeing only, yes. I've talked about this. I really prefer the Boeing to have the steering yoke in your hands. It's a real feeling of flight, I think. I was able to fly in an A320 simulator on the FSWeekend last year, and I have to say it is very easy. Not that I would understand anything that happened around me in this cockpit. I remember the point where the co-pilot said, "Now please let's put out the gears," and I was looking around and searching for the gear, and he asked me, "Where is the gear handle in the Boeing?" And I said, "Ah, there it is. Okay." So I was totally overwhelmed of this cockpit and what you can see everywhere on the displays. Yes, but flying this thing is really easy if you fly it manual. Maybe if there is some storm or something like this, then it would be more difficult. But I always asked how they can fly this Airbus with only one stick, and now I know you only have to give it a trigger to the right direction, and then he stays at this direction. And this is really easy. You don't have to trim anything, what you have to do in the Boeing when you fly it. So, Stefan, hello. Nice to have you here. Give us t-shirts of your channel. Yes. Would anyone buy this t-shirt? I've bought these t-shirts, and I think I know no one who would wear these t-shirts. If you say yes, I would buy these t-shirts, we can talk about this. Okay. Yes, Mukesh, I will show some things in the simulator later. You will see this. So what we have, what to do with the dual rotaries? It's difficult with a rotary and switch combined as heading bank angle. Yes. They discussed this problem this or last week in the cockpit builders group on Facebook, and I think that can't be too difficult because you have room after the rotary switch encoder in the MCP. There is enough room, and I think when you could drill through a rotary encoder or through a rotary switch, then you can combine these. I think this is even easier than building a dual rotary encoder, but we will see. So, shortly I will start drawing the electronic PCB for panel. Of course, oh, PCBs, yes, this is also be a very interesting PCB. I don't know if I will make PCBs behind all the panels. When you see photos of some overhead panels, then there are rarely no PCBs used, only because you can wire everything with the cables and only put the switches and some other components there. But CDU, for example, is a unit where a PCB would be really handy, especially with all these tactile buttons. And maybe the MCP or an EFIS panel, because you have very much electronic on a very small room, and then an MCP would come in handy, yes. No, it's not my birthday today, it's a birthday of the cockpit. Okay. So, yeah, the sharing question is one. I don't know if Peter is sharing the drawings. I'm will be not allowed to share the corridor drawings, but I've discussed this. I will share the things that will come out of these drawings. For example, in the next video, I will... Is it the next video? Oh no, it was the last video. The EFIS panel. I've shared the DXF file and the SLCAM files that you can use to make your own EFIS. So that is what I share with you. And this is just because not a company can come, grab the whole drawings and make profit from it. So, okay, yes, we have talked about the chapters, and yes, another thing, of course, I have to say it. I think you have seen this on Instagram. Finally, I had the chance to talk to Hanneke from ProSim, and we talked about how to reduce the fear of people to build their own simulators and use complex software, for example, in their simulators. And also for me, I would be afraid going to a software and use this, for example, PMDG. They have an SDK you can communicate with, or ProSim, or what we have, Project Magenta, because it is overwhelming you, just the possibilities you have. Or when you want to use the SDK of PMDG, you have to have programming knowledge, for example. And so I think many people don't even start their cockpit projects. And so I could talk to him and tell him, I will show, again, like I'm doing until now, every step what I do to connect the hardware with the software. And I will show every step that is necessary in ProSim to establish this connection. And yes, and so he said he can give me a license. Of course, this is not just a license free to me. When I can't sell this license, for example, it's just for personal use, and also only if I continue doing this project here. So it's not like I have a free license for nothing. No? So what have we? Some questions here. Can you cover the router bits you are using? Yes, I can. There are not many kinds. I'm using. I can write down in the description of the stream here which is the name of the bit. Then you can look if they are also interesting for you. But what I'm using most of the time for cutting MDF or wood is a 3mm dual flute router bit, and what I'm using for cutting acrylic is a 2mm single flute bit, because as more as more knives in the router you use, as hotter it gets when it turns to the material. So every time you want to cut a material that tends to melt, like acrylic, you have to slow down your RPMs when you cutting it, and also use a bit with very few knives, maybe best a single flute. And then the engraving tool I'm using, this is a 30-degree engraving tool. Yes. And that's all. I have some bits from my handheld router Maybe I've used a 10mm bit to flatten out the surface where I have placed the panel to engrave it. Yes, that is concerning the router bits. So, did you already own all the tools before you started? Not all. Many of the tools I had before I started this cockpit project. You should watch my first live stream. There I'm going into this in detail. So I've renovated this house here, and I also started in 2012 working with wood and built my homemade bandsaw. And so I fell in love with this woodworking theme, and for 5 years I made many furnitures for our home, presents for friends, and so on. And so the tools come together after and after. Yes, but the CNC router, for example, I built now only for this cockpit project. But I have seen that I can do many things with it during my workflow in the shop, and now I'm using it more and more for other things. So, looking like a real cockpit, yes, that's the thing behind it. It should look like this. So. Okay, so what have we? Yes, the Solidis. I wanted to talk shortly about this. And the Solidis CNC, you know this now from the last 5 videos. It's definitely worth to build it when you have the room to place something like this in your shop. Then you should build this because I would have never thought this. It's very accurate, and yes, it was accurate from the first moment. So I was really surprised how accurate you can work with this. So, and I've done some things with it. I've engraved acrylic with an engraving tool, so you can let come LED light from the bottom into it, and you can create these 3D illusions. A really good present for every birthday. You can engrave name panels, and I'm working again on the glare wings for the next episode, and I had to cut them out again. And I thought, why couldn't I do this with a CNC router? And this worked also very well, and so it can be it can save you much time. Okay, you have to invest some time before it. You have to make the drawings and define the tool passes and so on. But especially when it comes to the point that you can reuse this work. For example, I've made a Darth Vader 3D illusion, and I've made my 4th now of it to give it to friends, and then you can save really much time. I'm Peter. I'm before the eyebrow windows and think that will be a heavy thing, maybe. Yes. yes, Peter. This is also a question that was given to me. Which is the cockpit part until now you are most proud of? And this is for me definitely these eyebrow windows here. And I've said this in my Christmas special. You can't imagine how much work these eyebrow windows were. Yes, I took 3 attempts to build them, And first of all, it's nearly impossible to find measurements of these in the web. And I found something near to the original measurements, and then I made a taper template and placed it in here, and it didn't fit anymore. It didn't fit to the cutout of my ceiling frame here, and so just don't spend too much time into making this with the real measurements. Just fit it into your ceiling frame and let it look like the real ones. And I think this had worked out really well. And you have seen this in the videos. I've started with the frame of these windows here and then worked my way into it. And the more and more I came to the end of these windows, the more I left the way of making them like the real measurements. And I think this should be the way you should go. There are also cockpit builders that use the real eyebrow windows from bonded planes, but I think it is very difficult to match them to your ceiling, and I think you will have to work even as well as much as building them new when you have to fit in real eyebrow windows. So Scott, I'm almost done building an MPCNC. Just have the wiring left and I can start playing too. Yes. Before I decided to make this Solidis, I was on the way to say, should I build this MPCNC? I have a 3D printer and I could do these parts. I've seen MPCNCs also routing aluminum, so it must be sturdy enough. And this was my fear, that the construction with these tubes couldn't be stiff enough to route aluminum or harder things, for example. But now that I've seen it is possible, sure, build an MPCNC because it is scalable in every direction. I think the X and Y axis is scalable. Okay. Yeah, you can work accurate with the CNC because you build it accurate. Yes. Yes, I've checked every part when I made this, and there were some parts that I made new when I saw this didn't came out as good as I hoped to. Yes, you have, when you build a CNC, you have to build it accurate. Then other way you have no chance. So. Yes, are you buy that or are you make that? Yet I think, what about the throttle? Yes, that is also a question from which supplier will you buy your cockpit parts? And I have the plan to buy nothing of the cockpit plans. This is a high goal when you come to cockpit building. But I want to try to make everything myself. Really, I'm very afraid of this throttle. Maybe you have seen the Build a Boeing channel of Peter, and he made a throttle, and I don't know how many years he built this throttle, but I think this will be a very challenging project, and again, many episodes when I show this to you. And yes, I don't know how it will work out when I see that a way I've taken isn't the correct and I have to make it new. But I think I will show all this to you, and so you can learn if a way to build a shuttle is good or not. Have you looked at SimVim cockpit interface? No, I haven't looked that. Should I? You should say what is SimVim interface. So what do we have? Ah, there. Yes, and the part I'm most proud of it. I said this for me. Of course, these are the eyebrow windows. When I would go after the watch time and clicks on my channel, then it is the glare shield. The plans for the glare shield have been downloaded more than 1,000 times from my website until now, and I don't know if these plans were what the community was waiting for, but yes, it's the most demanded download on my website. And okay, what do we have there? At least by building it yourself, you'll know how it all works. So when it breaks, you'll know how to fix it. Yes, that's right. It's that's the point of everything you build yourself. When you build something yourself, you mostly know how to fix some things. This is what I've seen at my bend saw. When something goes wrong with the cut, or the blade doesn't go in the direction I want it to go, then I know where I have to turn a screw. Yes. So, and this is a moment when we can go into the cockpit. Let's get rid of this birthday thing here, so that you can see this better. And you can see the glare shield now is empty. The glare wings are missing. I've said this before. I'm making them new. And I will cover the glare shield with some artificial leather in the next episode. And so I've covered this with some primer here. Yes, and I've also lowered it a bit, so it fits now to the measurement of the MCP and EFIS panel. And I will update also my glare shield plans, so that you will have the new dimensions of this glare shield here. And what can I say? Yes, MDF. The glare shield is made from MDF, and I don't know if you have this problem too. My MDF starts smelling when it lays around, especially in my wood storage. When there is MDF laying around, it smells like, I can't describe it, old wood. I would describe it. And this is also a smell I can smell when I go into this MIP, for example. I don't know if it reacts something with the air and then starts smelling. So I would recommend, when you are using MDF in your cockpit, every time do a coat of anything over it, of primer, of paint, anything that closes the wood structure, and then it stops smelling. And I covered this with primer here, even if I cover it with leather again, just to be safe, not letting come out any smell under the leather. So what do we have? So, I have a friend who uses SimVim in his B900 cockpit, speaks highly for their interface. Yes, I think I will notice and have a look at SimVim. I think I haven't heard of this before. So, are you gonna use projector for a screen? Yes, I'm planning. I'm planning to use projectors and to build a 180-degree screen here. And then with 2 or 3 projectors, I will yes, make the visuals. I've seen a website where someone has made 180 degrees with 2 projectors, but I also read then when you use 2 projectors, then the middle of the screen where the 2 images meet each other is very high intensity of light, and it's not so good. So when you use more projectors, you can make better transitions. That is the word I was searching for, and the transitions are very hard. And when you use 3 projectors, you can make more smoother transitions between the images. Yes, but I will have to look how I can pay these things, and a projector is one thing in the cockpit I can't build myself. There are some projects to build a projector yourself, but I think this wouldn't come out really good. And so there are still some parts I have to buy, a computer or a projector, for example. And this is also a point that I have to raise some money for this project, because I've talked about this in my first live stream, I think, too. When I go to my wife and tell to her, hey, I want to buy 3 projectors for my cockpit, and she will say, yes, okay, here is the money, how much do you need? You can imagine that it won't work. And so I have to think about raising a little bit money with this cockpit project, and I think there will come a member section to the Flightdeck, and not all of the files to download will be downloadable free in the future. So I think I will make a member section with a low price, and you will have a lifetime entrance to all the files I'm putting to the website. So I'm thinking about this a little bit, and this may come in the near future. So will you stick with P3D and ProSim? No XPlane and ZIBO mode. No XPlane, and let me explain this to you. I know this is nearly yes, a religious fight between FSX prepared and XPlane. There is no logical or objective decision for one or the other. For me, I said I have some add-ons, I want to use some add-ons in the simulator, and I have the feeling, I don't know if this is right, but I think I'm right with this. I have the feeling that XPlane is always a little behind when it comes to add-ons. All the developers develop first for FSX and prepared, and then they develop for XPlane. And this was one reason I stick to prepared. Also, I wanted to use the PMDG first before I made the decision to ProSim, and I think this also only runs on prepared. I always see these cockpits made from the ZIBO mode and XPlane, and they work great. And I think when you have some programming skills, then you are definitely right building your cockpit with XPlane. Yes, as I said, you can't say this objectively go to XPlane or prepared. It's just a feeling for me that I have to stick to prepared and see how I will go with this. So I recommend FlyElise. Yes, FlyElise, I've heard much about this. He used 2 projectors and it was fine on the edge blending. Yes. FlyElise, how much do it cost now? I think there are also some €100 you have to spend for FlyElise to use this. Yes, but you will definitely have to choose for some warping software. Here, prepared ID is 64 bits. Yes, that's isn't explained 64 bits until now. That's I think when it would be the decision between FSX and XPlane only. I think now you can say you should choose XPlane then, because the old FSX was very hungry for performance for your computer, and then XPlane should be the better decision. But now prepared is 64 bits. You have to make another decision again. Yes. So I moved to XPlane last year and will never look back. The ZIBO mode is constantly updated and rearward pylons are helping with development. Yes, as I say, let's stop this XPlane prepared discussion. You can search for these discussions in the web, and it's a never-ending story. Just let me look how far I will come with it, and then we will see. So, how do I organize my ideas was also a question to me, and I can recommend this also to you. I'm using the Note app on my Synology NAS here at home. So I have a central place where I can leave all my informations I found out in the web. And every time I'm visiting a website and seeing something new I didn't know until this moment, and I think, oh, maybe this can be interesting in the future, I save the link to the website in a link collection. And also screenshots when I see some pictures people post in some forums. I make a screenshot of this and put it into another topic, and so collect all the informations you can find out there in the web. Even if you don't need them now, because you will need them in 2 or 3 years. You don't know if the website is still online then, or if you will find them again. Save them at the moment you find them, and don't ask if you need them now or in the future, or if you need them ever. Just save them for you. You will see if you will need them. And so I'm collecting links, pictures, and even some discussions when someone has written a longer text how to do something. Then I also save this explanation there in a special topic, and I'm making different topics, for example MCP concerning, or eyebrow windows, seats, and to all these topics I'm collecting the informations. And I think this can be a way you can also use. Trello would be a software which is free, you can use online, or if you just make a text file on your computer and save them, or you make a link collection in your browser, something like this. So, 180 euro for up to 3 projectors, home use. That's a FlyElise price. Okay. Yes, that's definitely worth the investment, of course. I will see how I will make it. maybe they will join the channel also, and I can show you all the settings in this. I will see. Not all companies are interested here in supporting this channel. Before I made the CNC router, and also while I was building it, I also wrote to some panel making companies, and I never heard anything of them. So I think those companies aren't interested in supporting the home users with some of their products. I think there is a channel too small for them. But this year there will come one company that makes resins and what's the other thing? I don't know the English words. I will make an episode where I produce buttons and all the knobs for the overhead. Which are these? The most known knobs are these here, where these turning knobs here, and all these knobs on the EFIS or MCP panel. I want to print out and then make a form and then make a resin molding of them. And this company will come in with their products, and I can show this in detail to you. So I can even make some tests. Would be more expensive if you would have to buy all these things yourself. So this can be interesting when you don't have a 3D printer or only one button and you want to make more of them. So this whole molding theme can be really interesting for cockpit building. So I'm using P3D Open Cockpit panels with Open Cockpits for yes software. Yes, I've read about OC4BA software also. I don't know if they have already a CDU. I think one part was missing in this software, but yes, you can definitely use it for your cockpit building. So, if I got a bigger room and space, I will use your files for sure to build this. My attic is way too small. I don't know if you know the channel I don't know how he calls NGX737 or other way around. He's from the Netherlands, and he has also a channel and built a cockpit in his attic, and even with this diagonal roof there is his cockpit in. You should watch this channel. You will find solutions even for small rooms. Oh, I need more space for my cockpit. Yes, space is always a problem. Can you help in getting one? My grown-up children go to the living room their own. Yes. No, I can't make tutorials of getting more space. Yes. Okay, let's come one other topic. Hi, Tibor. To one other topic, the FSWeekend. I don't know, maybe you can say who was on this FSWeekend and who of you I had missed to talk at the FSWeekend. Just say I was there. This was fantastic. FSWeekend, if you haven't been there already, go there. It's every year in the Netherlands, in Lelystad, and there is all about this the cockpit building scene there, and you can see live demonstrations of VATSIM, EVOW, where a controller making some demonstration of how the interaction of pilots and the controllers work. I've talked a while to a military guy who are making military simulations. I always ask myself, what are these people doing who build an F-16 or an F-18 cockpit? Because there are not many users of this, only if you can play a military game. but he said they are even booked by the Air Force of the Netherlands when they make demonstration days to let and they invite these guys to show the audience how, for example, an air-to-air refueling works, or some tactical operations or something like this. This is crazy. They call us simulator guys to show how military works. So this was very interesting, and also the whole surrounding there on this FSWeekend. All these guys who were interested in flight simulation in one in one location gathered there. That was fantastic, and there were some moments where people stopped and say, "Hey, I know your channel, and we talked about our cockpits, and you can see the differences in ages." That was also good. The younger people, I call them, grab out their phones or their tablets and show the photos of their cockpits. And there was one older man who prepared for such situations, because he seemed not to have a cell phone or something like this, and he has printed out pictures of his cockpit on a laminated sheet and showed them to you. So every age was there which was involved in cockpit building, and this was fantastic. And I've found many new ideas of how to make some things in the cockpit, and I will definitely come back to the FSWeekend in this year and maybe make some more video material, maybe some interviews with some members of companies and people who are showing something there, the exhibitors. And I will have someone with me who will make the camera work, because I was there and it was so full of people, and I thought I could place the camera there and then say, "Hey, can we make an interview?" and stand before the camera, but it was way too stressful, and so I only made some footage which I showed you in my Christmas special. Yes, but this time I will take someone with me who will be caring for all this camera work, and then I can concentrate on making interviews with some people. I hope this will work out. So, thanks for sharing your project with us. Your videos have given me a few ideas for my own cockpit, and I appreciate the videos. Yes. That was the plan behind this whole project the last 2 years, bringing you to the cockpit building topic. Even if you don't want to build a whole cockpit, you're welcome here. I think videos that will be interesting in the future will be when I build the MCP or the MCP-panel technique and the programming behind it. I've seen many videos that are showing finished MCP, and they are not showing how to do this. And I think people are interested in this. Because an MCP is something you can put on your desk even if you don't have a full cockpit. But this will make the whole simulation much more easier if you can just quick turn some knobs instead of using shortcuts on your keyboard or looking around in your virtual cockpit. So who was there? I was there on Saturday. Hey G, yes, and we have missed, I think. So 25 minutes from my home. Yes, then it's a home game for you. Of course, I had it was 3.5 hours for me to drive there. Yes. So sorry to see that less manufacturers attended it over time. Yes, some people I talked to on the FSWeekend said the same, that the companies are fewer than in the past years. I also thought open cockpits would be there. Where should they be? We're not there, where all these cockpit building people are around, but they weren't. Okay. Other companies, CP Flight was there, ready to sim. Is it the name? When they produced these chairs, outstanding chairs, for example, and other companies. Even this open source project of Flight Simulator. I think, just to trigger again, if we are talking about prepared XPlane. There's also an open source project for years. I don't know if all of you know this, which is, of course, this is the thinking behind open source. It's free for all, and you can develop for it. And they also have made a Boeing theme, and you can communicate with the software, also with some yes, not data refs like XPlane. I don't know, some other packages you can send there. But if you're searching for something beside these global players, you can watch this. So, do you take visitors to your cockpit to show them around? Yes, every time when friends come here and they know what I do, they want to see this here, but they lose the interest very fast when I say I will have to invest 5 or 6 years in the future to this, and they then tell me when it's ready. But of course, people are standing in here, especially now when the ceiling here now is ready, and yes, not everyone has a Boeing in his basement. What kind of 3D printer do you have? Yes, I would like to buy Da Vinci printer for doing knobs. Yes. 3D printing is the theme. The market is flooded with printers, and I think it's the same discussion between prepared and XPlane is there for 3D printers. I can't tell you objectively take this 3D printer or this one, because they all have advantages or disadvantages. Maybe it's the price, or it's the accuracy, or the size of the printing surface. I can say, for me, I have started with a Chuangzi X1 because it is the cheapest printer you can buy at the moment. It's under 100 euros, but you have to spend very much time and work to let it print accurate. And the first parts you will print with this printer are parts for this printer. And I thought I would throw it away after I was building to it some weeks. But then I have found out that the tension of these belts was very important for an accurate 3D printing, and so I printed some tensioner for these belts, and now I can use it really accurate. I will switch over to an G-Tech A10 now. I was long time I was thinking to buy the Creality CR10, but this is really 300 to 400 euros, dollars. You can buy this, but I don't need this print height. I never will print big sculptures on a 3D printer, especially because it needs so much time. I will only make small things, and then Ender 3 or the G-Tech can be the printer you can choose. Everyone is talking about the Prusa, but I think the price is a little bit pushed just because of the name, but you have to make your own decision. Go onto the web and read, and you will understand what I'm talking about. There are so much printed on the web, and every time you have said for you, this is a printer I want to buy, then you find another article that lets you turn around 180 degrees and so on. It's very difficult. So Flightdeck solution was missing also. They were there in 2017. Yes, also some really great manufacturers were missing there. So it's 20 o'clock. Maybe we have to finish shortly. So, let's discuss some last themes here. Next step in the building process. I said this before. I've said in my Christmas special what are the next steps, but I will. Oh, let's go up here. Moving in the cockpit is good for your health. I now will overwork the glass shield here, and then I will make the technique of the glare wings, the annunciators, and this will be the video where I will come to electronics for the first time. Would I come to electronics then? I think. And the covering of this front here, I want to finish now. I will make the same method as I've done here at the sides, acrylic one and this XPS foam, and I will close this, and then I think it will really look good here, and I can concentrate on other things. And I've made a very detailed panel making video in the last video, when you remember the MCP-panel. Of course, I will not show you every panel step here in this detail, because I think it will be boring for you when you watch for the 20th time when I'm cutting out a panel. I think you know now how this works. And so I will make some things in bulk. For example, all these annunciators here. I will not show you in every video how to build this special annunciator, because I will make a video how to make annunciators in general. Then I will build them. There are, I think, 200 of these here in the 120, I think, in the cockpit. And then you know how to build it, and you can think yourself which one you will need for your panel. Also a rotary encoder I will build one time and show it to you, and then I only will say, and now we take the rotary encoder. You can see how this is built in this or this video. Yes. Other steps here. The MCP, I'm a little bit afraid of making this MCP because there is much electronic. I will make the EFIS panel first, try out something there, and then see if I will make this MCP panel. Of course, I will have to make it sometime. There's no way around. So, and what can beginners do to follow the programming steps? I've said I want to make a connection between these electronics to Arduino and then to ProSim to the simulator. And if you want to follow the programming work that I will do, you should watch for some Arduino basics. There are some lessons out there on YouTube, or you can buy yourself a book and make some experiments yourself with the Arduino. It's really easy. There are some really good books on the market where you can learn programming with an Arduino. And I think then you can follow me a little bit easier. I will explain everything I will do, but I can't explain you every programming detail like some special programming loops, what they do in detail or something like this. This you have to learn yourself. But everything that is that concerns this connection thing will be explained in detail. So, hey G, yes, it was a pleasure to make this stream here for you all. Is anything more I can tell? I think I went through all these steps now. Okay, and not letting you hang out too late in this evening. Any last questions here from you now? Looking how you replicate the Cori 318 annunciators. I don't know the special name. The Cori, are these annunciators here I've shown? I hope no. These are. By the way, does anyone know if these annunciators have a testing mode? I have written that you can push them and then the light goes on. I always thought there is this switch on the MIP. You can switch and then all the lights go on at the same time. We will see. You can write this down maybe as a comment then. Okay. So now let's come to the end now. Thank you all. Again, the hour has been gone very fast, and thank you for being all here this evening. I will definitely do a next live stream when I have some more topics to cover. Maybe let's come some videos and then make another live stream. I wish you a good weekend again, and follow me just on my channel. Say your friends about it, and now I wish you all a good night and bye. I see you. What I have to say is we will see us soon back on the flight deck.